Welcome back to Good Dates Gone Bad. I'm your host, Lee. I wanted to share with you guys a story from my book. It's from volume 1, and it's called The Wrestler, number 16, and basically goes like this. There was a woman who was recently divorced, and she was on MySpace, if you guys remember that. MySpace was before Facebook. That tells you how old it was. And basically met a dude on there that they had some common interests. It was known for being a pickup joint and not quite as catchy as Match, but it was definitely something that people would meet people on there and go on dates. So they had talked a little bit and courted for a week or so on MySpace, and she decided, why not? He invited her to go grab a coffee at Starbucks, and she decided to go meet him, and thought she needed to get out and thought it was a good idea. Little did she know what the night had in store for her. So she goes to Starbucks, she gets there before him, and she's waiting, near the window inside, and she looked away for a little bit and looked back out, and then he walks in. And he looked a little bit different than his profile picture on MySpace, which isn't uncommon. But he walks in and he talks to her for a minute and greets her. And no kiss or really any hug or anything, just kind of walks up to her and says, "Let's get a coffee." So he goes up to the counter and he proceeds to order for himself. But then he's looking at her like, "Don't you want something?" And even the lady at the counter is kind of looking at him. So she thought, well, okay, so the girl orders. And then the lady's looking at him, thinking he's going to pay for it. And then he starts feeling around in his pockets and says, "Oh my gosh, I must have left my money at home. Do you mind? I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you." And she's like thinking, oh my God. Here we go. Red flag number 1. So she pays for the coffees because somebody has to pay for the coffee. And the lady at the counter is kind of rolling her eyes, not amused. The girl wasn't amused either. And they decide to go outside because he says, "Oh, I want to hear my favorite song on my car stereo. I just, got my the sound system in my car works really well. I want you to hear the song." And again, because they met on MySpace, you can meet people based on your musical interests, whatever your hobbies are. And that's pretty normal. So she goes outside and they're drinking coffee in May outside in the middle of the day, and his AC is not working very well, and he's got his bass on, boom, 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 really, really loud, okay? And she's getting kind of annoyed because she smells like this stale cigar smell, and she mentions, "Oh my God, what is this stink? What's going on?" And he said, "Oh, well, I smoked some Swisher Sweets for the past couple of days. That's probably what it is. When you don't have your vent open, or closed, it can really make it smell really bad in the car. So, and absorb the smells." So she's sitting out there being tortured, drinking hot coffee on a hot day with this dude listening to a loud bass to a song that he likes and smelling the smell and no AC, just tortured. So he realizes that it's not very cool. So she's thinking, okay, I want to go inside and get something to drink. I can't take this. And he says, "Well, let's go get something to eat. I'm hungry anyway." And she's like, "Well, we could go somewhere, but I don't really, we could always go to my house," which was a mistake. She should not have done that. Truth be told, that's a bad thing to do when you just meet someone in person on a date. You should never say, "Let's go to my house." That was a bad idea. So they go towards her house in Alpharetta and get something to eat at a little deli. And she's thinking, "I'm going to go to Cheap Eats because I'm going to get stuck paying the bill again." This is before you could do, tap your phone and do Apple Pay. You can't. We didn't have that then. So anyway, after that, they went to her house and they went inside, and she's thinking, "Man, I need to get a cocktail now. Do you want one? And you probably should shower," which is also kind of a strange thing to say to someone. A, they don't live there. They've never been to your house. and you've never even met them outside of an online presence, forum platform before, why would you invite them in your home, offer them a cocktail, and after they've been so selfish on, the first meeting, and tell them to go take a shower? So of course he misunderstands this. And he walks up to her and starts making out with her, and she's like, oh my God, like maybe his coffee breath or his smell, he smelled sweaty. They both were sweaty. It turned her off, okay? So she's suggesting that he takes a shower, but he ignores her and sprawls out on the floor and says, come on, let's wrestle. Again, the name of it is The Wrestler. So she's like, what? I'm not going to wrestle you. And he said, remember, I told you I'm a Brazilian jiu-jitsu wrestler. And come on, let's wrestle. And she's thinking, I'm not going to wrestle you. And so she's drinking her drink. He said, I'm going to wrestle you after your drink. She's like, oh my God, whatever. So she's not expecting this. As she's finishing her last swallow, he sees her put down her drink, and he grabs her by the wrist and pulls her over on the floor with him, and immediately puts her in this hold, very sexual hold. Wraps around her legs and pulls her legs apart, and he's got her in this hold, okay? And she can't get out of it. She's trying with all of her might, cannot get out of this hold. She's thinking, how was I so stupid that I put myself in this situation? And she had a roommate, but the roommate was not home. She's hoping, I'm sure, any minute that the roommate comes home. But nonetheless, she's laying there in this compromising position with this guy that she really doesn't know. And she's trying to get out of this hold, and he won't let her up. And she's squirming, trying, and she can't get up. She's thinking, well, this could be really bad. And then she starts fussing at him, and he immediately flips his leg around and puts her in a more compromising position and kicks her in the knees or in the head in the process. Now she's really in a compromising position, and she can't get up, and she finally convinces him to let her up. And when she does, she's like, what the hell are you doing? What were you thinking? You need to leave. And he pretty much left without saying thank you for coffee, thank you for lunch or dinner or whatever it was by then. They had hung out for several hours together, and that's what she got. It was kind of a bad decision that she made, a couple of them. I think that after going to coffee, and he invited her to coffee, and then she pays for it, which wasn't that big of a deal, but then he wants her to go take her to go get something to eat, and his AC is out. I mean, all these things. This guy's a loser, right? He's got no way to take her out on a date, show her a good time if that's what she's looking for. Not all girls are looking for that, not all guys are looking for that. But you want someone that can at least be self-sufficient, and if he can't even afford to pay for his own air conditioning to be fixed before you go into full-blown summer, that's kind of a red flag. Forgets his money. That's kind of a stupid excuse. He ends up asking her to take him to go eat something because he's hungry. I mean, come on. And then he puts her in these awkward holds. I mean, she almost kind of deserves some inconvenience because she kind of asked for some things by inviting him back over to her house. She should have cut the date short after the coffee, after the AC was out of the car, after the smell of the cigar, all these other little known red flags. She should have just kind of shut it down with that, but she didn't. She ended up sending him a message on MySpace saying, go wrestle yourself, because he had sent her a couple of little messages. So she was not interested in seeing him again. And she's probably heard from him even a couple more times, hoping he'd get a free coffee out of her, but nope. Didn't happen. So hopefully she learned her lesson and wouldn't, any other encounters of potential dates on MySpace, she had courted them a little bit longer, vetted them out a little bit better, maybe even looked up their accounts on LinkedIn, done some background checks before meeting them, certainly before inviting them back to her house. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the story, and thanks for tuning in. And be sure to like and subscribe and share so that other people can enjoy and learn what not to do on dates. And stay tuned for more Good Dates Gone Bad. Bye.